you're like, who told me to do this? It's torture. But once you've done it, you never have to do it again. So I did it like 3 times and I never have to ever do it again. I'm done with that.
You know, your girlfriend has my email address too.
No, that would kill you. That would kill you. And it wouldn't stop because the brakes weren't even that good on those bikes, and it wouldn't handle because the suspension was horrible. So
when you smoke a clutch, you're not done with the rest of the problem. Yes, I pushed buttons and the show went over the internets. We are live. I've been live for a few minutes on the Instagrams because we do the show before the show. This is where I basically my iPad's playing games on me. I mean, literally, it started playing a game and I didn't want it to, so I'm gonna have to fix that. I don't know how to turn that off. I was gonna have this thing that made sounds. I was gonna do something technical, but tonight on the show, this is really cool. Like I said, I'm excited. I have Big Gun Mike Young coming on to help. He's going to help me make this show better because I've been trying to make it worse every time we do this. But I'm going to work on making it better. I'm getting good quality guests in here or able to zoom in like Mike is. As you can see, the studio is a little empty in here, but so you can leave your questions in the chat. We'll get to them. I'm looking at the stuff on the Instagrams. At the Instagrams, my Instagrams told all my friends that I'm live. And a Disco Dave 861 says, "Hell yeah, Mike Young." No, thank God, Mike Young. Okay, let's just get this straight. So when I hang up on you here in a few moments, I'll forget that you're even running on the Instagram lives. You have to go over to our Facebook or our YouTube channel to watch this show live. Then you can see all the things we add in. Because when I bring Mike in, you're not going to be able to see this. Instagram likes to be its own thing out in the world. And if you have questions, I will answer them if I see them scroll by. But more than likely, I'm going to start concentrating on the buttons that I'm pushing. And I'm surprised that people aren't in the chat going, "Your sound doesn't work. The video's clipping," all the things that usually happen. Right now, we got a good, strong stream. And I like to say that, and it wasn't because I just went and took a pee. I mean, we have a good, strong stream going out. And I'm going to bring in Mike. I think I can unmute him. I think he unmuted himself. He might have done this. Good. Let me see if this works here. Mike Young, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Wow, you're super loud. I told you this earlier. That's good, though. It's better than being super quiet like sometimes mine is. I wonder if I can adjust the volume on my guest. I don't really know.
Do we need to do one of those test 1, 2, 3s?
Yeah, we're doing it. USB volume? I don't know. I fix it all.
You know what you're doing.
My whole life, I've been pulling this game off. So what'll happen is I actually go back in and do post-production. So when the sound is horrible live, if the sound is bad in the live stream, make a comment in the chat and let us know. And I think I'm going to have to reload my chat because it is not showing me. It's not showing me what I want to see. I can see it there, but it's obviously people have left a question in the chat and I'm not seeing it on my screen. This is how this show works every single time. I used to have a producer. It was a kid that sat over here, Mike, and the kid would do all of the button pushing. And Chris Reel says he's great to see, Mike. Yeah. Too, so obviously, Chris. And then we go, Mark Daniels, sound check is good. I typically, so just lately, I stopped having beers during the week. It was just something I felt like it was time for me to do. I wasn't getting any benefits out of it. I don't want to say quit because my buddy George quit and I don't want to be like George. So I did it my own way. And so I stopped, but I do like to have a little something for the show, but I can't touch it right now because it's holding up my phone for the Instagrams. So I might have to get rid of. Decker Nielsen says you should do a best of Rooster Endo. Why? Did you win? Most people can't even submit a Rooster Ender. Tonight we got 2. So it's a full-on 50% chance you're going to win $100 from Takamoto. And by the way, this whole show would not be possible without the help of one of our great sponsors. That is Yamaha. And see, there's a little Yamaha logo on the screen right there, just so you can do that. And I got the chat back up. So getting the show working. Mike Young, welcome to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. You unfortunately told me that you have watched the show before.
Yeah, that's scary, isn't it?
and you were willing to come back on.
Back.
Yeah, that's
and actually I'm willing to come on. That that must say a lot, right?
Yeah.
There's something about one of us. I'm just kidding.
I'm glad. I think here it is right here. So this is what I wanted to. I in some of the early shows I had this thing that goes. That means we're super stoked to have Mike Young on the show.
I actually heard it too.
Well, you can hear that, but that's why I had to switch something in thing. Oh, and Decker Nilsson said he did win the Rooster Endo competition, and he wants more. Well, I like to tell people, and most people have been really good about this. They don't try to submit 2 or 3 bikes or win multiple times, because I would actually forget. It would be up to Taco Mike over at Taco Moto to, hey, we sent that guy a certificate, or he won before. One guy won, and then his daughter won the next week. And I thought he might have been cheating, but he actually had his daughter write the emails, and she was watching the show and she was chatting in, young daughter. And you could tell, okay, that was the girl that wrote about her bike. So if you're wondering what Rooster Endo is, it's a segment where you send us a picture of your bike. You send it to jimmy@dirtbiketest.com. You put Rooster Endo in the subject line, and you send us a picture of your bike. I like a nice picture. You might know that I used to be a magazine guy, and so I'm really particular about the pictures, or at least, I pretend to be. And then you tell us about your bike, and then the bike that gives us the most satisfaction after we tell you whether it roosts or endos wins. So Mike is going to help us with that segment tonight. And Decker Nilsson said he got 2 of his buddies to submit, as one of them won and the other one didn't. Well, we actually had not long ago, one of the guys that submitted for Rooster Endo also sent me a picture of his gang of guys that were going to beat me up if he didn't win. So I looked at the motley crew of people, and I'm pretty sure he won. So just so you know, we can't be influenced around here. So Mike Young, what have you been up to?
Oh man, Jim, busy. Busy. It's a different busy than what we'd like to be busy doing, right? I want to be on a beach somewhere with my feet just reclined and just hanging out, not sitting in my wheelchair for a little while and just enjoying some sun rays. But no, it's life's busy. I work for Road to Recovery Foundation, and we've had a lot of injuries the last few years. So, and this last year has probably been, the biggest. I think we've had this year to date like 23 injuries, and some major that people would know, and some that we help a lot of people on the backside most of the time. Not necessarily do we fund for them, but we help navigate them and guide them through a career-ending catastrophic injury like a TBI or a spinal cord injury or something major. And it's just been, it's been busy. I don't know, we've had a little reprieve, thank God, for a little while. And it's been a couple months now, and it's been nice because we were nonstop. And now we're planning, we're revving up right now because we're going to Motocross of Nations. We've got our team getting ready to go there. I'm actually going to go. It's my first as Nations, and my 55. I'll be 56 this coming month. That's old, but you and I are probably tied. But I'll be my first Motocross of Nations in a couple weeks, and we have a Northern California golf tournament with a bunch of the old school legends that were before your and I time, that we all looked up to back and then. So we're going to go to that Road to Recovery golf tournament up there. And then I've got NASCAR coming up. I got Toyota does a really cool program for the disabled, and they have this mobility pit box. And so I'm going to be going to that right before my birthday. And that's kind of my little birthday present to myself, but just busy with that stuff. I sold big gun exhaust years ago after, I had it for, I think 13 years, and it was awesome. And I had a coating shop where I was doing powder and ceramic coating. I was doing that for years too. And I just got tired and said, I just want to push all that aside and try and figure out what my next chapter is going to look like. And then Road to Recovery came along, and I kind of have a little bit of experience with spinal cord injuries, so it kind of worked out. So I was like, hey, this is kind of weird. It's kind of meant to be. And I love my job. Like some people I don't call it a job. I love what we do. I love helping people. And I think what we do is something very special. And so, yeah, and I've watched your show, like I said, on Mondays, and I've learned a lot, just watching your shows. I learn a ton, Jammer still has it, man. He's done a lot of things since I got hurt.
Hold on. I'm losing it. I just want you to know I'm losing it rapidly. And for those that don't know, me and Mike grew up racing together. So you're just a little bit younger than me. We kind of moved through the ranks. You were definitely a faster 80 rider than I was. And then we sort of met up. I don't know.
We battled on big bikes.
It was, I think it was pretty much, it was heavy in the 125 intermediate class.
Yep.
And I think I moved into the intermediate class because I went from 80 intermediate to 125 novice. And then I think you went straight from 80 expert into 125 intermediate. So I must have moved up because we were like literally the same speed. I can't tell you how many times we battled at SMX races.
Yeah.
That was where we're always banging bars. And thank God you were struggling to get rides, kind of like we all were at the time, because we were sort of like we would be kids today that would be going to these training camps or schools or whatever the heck they were. And Mike had to ride like Cagivas.
I know. I don't admit
I probably wouldn't have been able to beat you when I beat you. Cause I think if you were the Cagiva wasn't horrible, right?
It was, the thing was so weird because I think it was like the Kyle Fleming Memorial was like, I think my first big race on one, and it was in 1986, and the bike was atrocious. Like it wouldn't stop. It was horrible. It would not stop. It handled so bad, but the motor was like a rocket ship. So you could make up the difference. But in a nutshell, yeah, it was, I rode a lot of interesting machines with you. You were, I think, you rode some Cowies possibly, if I remember correctly, and Yamaha. Right. Was that what it was?
Yeah, Cowies. Yeah, it was between Cowies and Yamaha. Yeah. So I'm gonna hang up on you Instagrammer. So if you're enjoying this, if you want to see Mike Young, he's right there. Mike Young is telling us awesome stories about racing Cagivas right now. And people on Instagram said, all I can hear is Jimmy breathing. And that's your reward for being on Instagram. Come over to YouTube and the Facebooks and watch us, and we'll see you in the very near future. I hope. Well, not really. They don't care. And now
they don't care.
No, it's social media. This whole everything's free, and it just comes flowing in. And if they have to do more than touch their thumb to a thing on the phone, and their life is horrible.
It's too much work. It's over.
Yeah, I was on Yamaha because I was just full contingency bucks kid. I was a professional intermediate, getting Yamaha bucks and Kawasaki bucks or whatever they were, and doing all that. And it was funny because if I beat you, if you beat me, we're like, what is he doing? He's not even getting like Yamaha bucks.
Yeah, he's getting robbed. I got the first, and it was like what, $300 maybe.
Well, right? that's when you moved up to pro. Because intermediate, it was no.
Oh, intermediate. We didn't have anything.
Yeah, it was just the bucks, and
was intermediate. Jimmy, didn't you have your little Datsun pickup, the brown tan one or whatever? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember the old Datsun. It would pull in, and I was like, "Oh no, Jimmy Lewis is here. We're gonna have to battle today.
Scrap. We're gonna scrap." Yeah, because there was a time when we were the two kind of top like intermediates in Southern California. And we would go to the Golden States and stuff. And then guys, that was like, cause I think you moved up and I stuck around in intermediate, and I had to go through, I went through everybody from like, Kyle Lewis and Bader Monet.
Oh, Mike Craig, Bader Monet. Yeah.
Mike Craig,
so many.
Mike Kudrowski, Ty Davis. Yeah. And all these guys. And it's like, I just kept getting worse and worse. I just kept getting, and that's why I went off road racing, because I got sick of short motos. But you were already up in the pro class. I mean, it was like when Jeremy McGrath jumped over my head, I'm just like, dude, at Carlsbad, by the way, there's no jumps at Carlsbad. And he managed to jump over my head. I realized I'm doing something wrong here, and I did something different. But and it's weird because I remember we always stayed pretty good friends. We never wanted to kill each other, right? Yeah. And it's weird because I learned to hate almost everybody I was always racing against, but I always thought, man, we really got along quite well.
It was different. I mean, we had fun. We were actually having fun, we were having fun. And yes, you're right. 87's when I moved up to pro. And I feel like I was a little premature because I was 16 or something. And I just didn't feel like I was really ready for that. And I was on a Cagiva still. I rode that Cagivas until, 89. And, I mean, the bikes got better and better. I mean, it's funny. I remember in 89, we had a rear disc brake on the thing because it had a drum brake before,
right.
And it was like way behind its time on that side. But when they came out with the 250, it was like 88, and the bike was it was unbelievable. So then I could go ride 2 classes at Golden States and Transcal and make extra money. And I made like Rex State and all these guys mad because they're out there trying to get the Honda bucks. And I'm not getting Cagiva bucks, but I'm taking their bucks, right?
They didn't have Cagiva bucks.
They didn't have them. So, but it was funny. I remember at Paris one day in the 89, and the rear brake it would pump up and you would lose the brake. And literally non-intentional. I never would take guys out. That just wasn't my deal. I wasn't just a dirty rider,
Yeah.
And there was a little zigzag section, and Jeremy was in front of me, and I don't know. I felt I was faster this day. I mean, I think I still was a little faster than Jer, but I was coming to this corner. I literally couldn't stop. So I used him to stop and knocked him off the track and kept going. And he came over after the race. He's like, "You don't ride like that." I go, No, I don't. I have no back brake. And he came and he pushed it. And he was like, "You rode the whole race without that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's just, you got to do what you got to do when you ride these Euro bikes." You just didn't know.
Enduro bikes, they were motocross bikes. Shit, Mike Healy was on them shortly after that.
Yeah. And they won world championships. I mean, Stravos won, Pekka Vakonen. I remember in 80, what was it? Right after the motocross GP, that 250 one that they had up at Hollister, and they had a 125 support class. Healy won it. I sent you, I think, a picture. Yeah, I sent you a picture of me. It said like 329 or something.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to go ahead I'm going to run the photo screen right now while we're talking.
That was so fun that day because I think I came from way back and I got like 5th, and it was like we were stacked field. I mean, Kudrowski, everybody was there. It was stacked, 40 guys, everyone could win. Healy ended up winning it. But Pekka Vakonen rode that. He rode his 250. That was the first time we ever saw a Cagiva 250 here. And oh my God, the thing was so fast. Him and Johnson battled the whole day. And so anyways, I got that bike for the following weekend for the Transcal at Adelanto. And I never rode it in my life. They just took it out of the crate and said, "Here, it's a brand new bike." So I'm like, oh my gosh, I had pictures of that thing. And I went out and won both motos in the 250. And I never rode a 250 because all we had was 125s, So fun times, man. The Cagivas gave me some good memories. But yeah, you and I lost touch for a little while because you went to the off-road side, and I would still keep up in Cycle News and see how you were doing and all that stuff. And then I'm still racing the moto thing, the grind. You're having fun, and I was just like, this is torture.
Yeah, I went off-road racing, and then we kind of came back because you were Mr. Four-stroke guy, because four-strokes weren't a thing, Mike. I don't know if anybody told you this. So I'm riding like an XR 250. I'm racing this when I was racing, and when I got out of motocross, and that's not a thing there. That was a real enduro bike, let me tell you, and it had a drum brake. Yeah. And then you're doing all the four-stroke stuff, riding these weird brands. Have I ever told you about do you know anything about Husabergs?
Just a little bit.
So
I've got a couple. People don't know what a Vertimati is either, do they?
Oh yeah, that's going way off the deep end. But Husaberg, they have so much power, especially like the ones that you were riding, the vintage that you were riding. Did you ever ride a 650?
Never. No. So the weirdest thing was when I went to Europe. and rode the GPs. That was in 95. So it was years. That was before you and I reconnected in 96. Okay.
Yeah.
But in 95, when I was over there racing 500 GPs, the first bike I rode was Joel Smetz's winning Bertamati from the year before. And it was a 650. And let me just tell you, handful.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do you ride that on a motocross track? I have no idea. I was like, no, can we like downgrade the motor a little bit? I ended up with a 499 and I went from a 650 down to a 512 down to a 499. And that was my favorite bike, was 499. But oh God, 650. Yeah. And those 650s you're talking about though, that was like, those were dinosaurs, right?
Well, the Husaberg one, when they started making the 650, especially as they started refining it, it was just
What
so
year
gnarly.
was this?
Oh man, 2000 and I have a 2002, I believe, 2001,
blue
2002.
and lime green kind of color.
I think it's kind of all yellow. But okay. I think because you were racing the Husaberg, you're racing a 501, correct?
Yeah, I had a 96 was 501s and 600s. And then in 97, when I got hurt, I was on a I had both. I had a 501 and a 600 too. Yes, we didn't have a 650 yet.
Yeah, when they made it mostly for like dual sport and supermoto kind of guys, and
only 98 maybe. You think maybe 98
when they started with them, so they were just they're so gnarly, just so much just raw torque, and because the motor's just trying to come apart, it's trying to blow up the whole time you're riding it, and that's the way those 4-strokes used to be.
Did it have a flywheel so it was really smooth, or what was it like to ride?
It was just imagine like the 501 and add 30% more torque and 25% more vibration.
No, that would kill you. That would kill you. And it wouldn't stop because the brakes weren't even that good on those bikes, and it wouldn't handle because the suspension was horrible.
Well, that's what happened is they started. I mean, that's the stuff they started refining. Like, hey, we know how to make a lot of power. We've just got to start tuning this stuff up and making it a little bit better. But and so you came back because really when we started reconnecting was when we started doing a lot of the stuff at Dirt Bike Magazine. Yeah, you and I did a lot of dirt bikes. So we did dirt bike, you and I, from like 1990 till 90. I mean, you and I, well, you went Cycle World later, but 1990 all the way up to probably 94. When I was riding ATK, I think somewhere around in there. I think you and I did a ton. We did a ton of dirt bike. You, me, Pete. Anytime there was a shootout, it was me, you, Pete Murray, Shane Trittler, and then what was the other kid? Sean. Oh yeah, Sean Wynn. Sean Wynn. They bring him in every once in a while.
Darren Heft, I think. Did Darren Heft ride with us sometimes too?
Yep.
I don't know if Darren did. He might have.
Yeah, because it was funny.
Some of these guys.
If it was me, you, and Shane, we knew how to kind of like, we'll call it share the glory. As far as we all had really good photo contingency contracts with different, all of our different things. And it was like, everybody got their turn. And cause some of the other guys, they would like, they would weasel around and want to get, cause if you got on the cover or you got a picture of a 2-page spread inside, you're going to make some money. And so it's almost like racing, but, and I was lucky because I had Malcolm Smith gear, which also had high points. So I had like 3 different kinds of gear I could wear, and I could mix it up, and I could look different. I could look different 3 times a day. And, and then that's when Dale was buying all you guys, getting all you guys in extreme gear. Remember that?
And all that. Yeah. You remember all that too. I wore a bunch because mine started with Cinesalo and then Axo. And then I think I went to like this Clover Italian brand for a little bit. And then I think I went to the Extreme. Yeah, Extreme was right before I was done over here and went to Europe. I think I was wearing Extreme right as I was leaving to go to Europe, because when I went to test over there, I had Extreme gear with me. So they've never seen that before.
Yeah. So it was all about
it. Cool though. The thing that people don't understand is the opportunity we had to ride the bikes and to try everything and to be able to see what your style kind of fit better. And I think it was cool, like in my life, especially being able to like you probably didn't even know this, but in 1982, '83 and '84, I was the cover of the Yamaha YZ80 brochure.
Oh, no, I didn't
so
know that.
That's my very first time doing photo stuff. So I had a little bit of support, from then. And then once I got on the big bikes, and it was kind of weird. It kind of happened randomly. And it started for me, the magazine stuff started with Ron Greiwe, but with Ron Lawson when Ron was at Cycle World taking pictures. And I remember I went out to somebody's house, and I forget who it was. We went to somebody's house that had a test track at their house, and we tested the YZ 360 in like 1990 or 91. Do you remember when they first made a YZ 360 kit?
It was the Nolan kit. Yeah.
So that's where it started for me, was right then. And then you and I met up after that. And then, as far as the magazine stuff went.
We were always racing. And then it was like, oh, you're doing this too, kind of, I think because you were doing more of the Cycle World stuff, and I was kind of more with the dirt bike guys. And then it was like, you do a shootout and you need guys, and like, where can you find guys? And we, when you're doing those pictures and stuff, when you do those pictures and stuff, you want somebody that you can trust. And you also somebody you don't want somebody that's like too much better than you. Cause if they're really good, they're going to take your money. I don't know. So it's just like the movie industry now, like the stunt guys. Yeah. It's the exact same way that these guys are. It's like, oh, I'll let you in if you're not going to outdo me. You're going to take my jobs. So
we worked together well. We had a good, we were very, very good with all that stuff. We got, the same amount of photos, same amount of covers. It was weird because I didn't come ride with you on dirt bike until Ron came from Cycle World over there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense now. Yeah. Cause I was like me and Shane were Tim and Joe's main guy. Cause, they'd call up and say, hey, Sploot, show up here. It's like, what am I? I didn't even ask
Joe Papa. Yeah, Lumpy and Joe Papa, man.
I didn't even ask what we were riding. I just show up with the, like 6 sets of gear and like, what do you want me to do? Is it we at a track? Are we gonna, got to ride through the bushes, through the sewage dump?
It was whatever they had.
Sandburn, whatever they did.
A track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just a turn. What was your, let me ask you this.
I got questions. So we got questions right away.
We got questions. I was going to ask you a question, but let's answer questions.
So Jason Abbott asks, Mike, throughout your racing and testing career, what are your top 3 favorite bikes?
Oh, well, hi, Jason. It's been a long time. I've known Jason since he was a little guy. Now he's a grown man with family and his kids racing. My 3 favorite motorcycles probably of all time. I could tell you my worst favorite was a CZ that I got to ride with Ron Lawson. That was probably the worst bike. But my 3 favorite, I would say, I rode a lot of cool bikes. I got to ride Ricky Johnson's Works Honda 500, CR 500. That was pretty cool. David Bradshaw's YZ 250. But as far as production bikes, I would say, oh, geez. To be honest, gosh, that's a tough question. I really liked the Kawasaki's. Even though I never raced one, I really liked the Kawasaki Kicks 250 back in like 95, 96. I think when Kudrowski and them were racing them, the bike was really good. So I really liked that. I liked my, I really liked my 89 Cagivas, to be honest with you. They were really cool. Once I got them dialed in, I won a bunch of championships and races on them. But that's a tough one, Jason, because 2-stroke wise, I'd probably say my favorite bike was probably that 95, 96. I think it was a 96 Kicks 250 was just awesome. Peak Honda, Jeremy McGrath's Honda 125 was probably my number 1 bike. That 125 was insane. The Cowie would probably be second. My third was actually probably my 1996 Husaberg by 501. I loved that motorcycle. Like that thing was just a ripper.
Yeah, if I could, I would have popped those videos in. I just didn't have time to get them loaded into the thing. But the funny thing is, you can watch you going, and that was a little bit earlier because you were racing the GPs then, and those tracks were just all choppy, and you can just see those bikes just ricocheting and dancing and the tires coming off the ground. Alan Lane says Mike Young is a hero for all the right reasons. So yeah, thank you, Alan. I agree. And we got a question from a little bit early, because this is what we usually do on the show, is we answer technical questions. So I'm not going to leave this guy out. Brooks Bodley says, I have a 2018 KTM XCF 450 with no spark. He tested the ECU and spark plug wire with a friend's off his Husky FX 450, which are essentially the same. What should I test next? Well, I always, I always go back, like, what was the last thing you worked on before your bike stopped having spark? Because this, Brooks, like 9 times out of 10, it's not the part failing. It is something that you did. Did you pressure wash it? Did you do something? So I always check when there's no spark. First thing I check is kill button, disconnect the kill button. That's easy. And if you hadn't done anything, you're just riding, you rode a bunch, most people wash it and they just hit the pressure wash it the wrong way, or they clamp a tie down on the thing. Oh, he put a headlight on it. Oh, interesting. Okay. So you touch something in the wiring. You did something in the wiring that caused that. So whatever you did, undo that. Like, take that headlight back off. Is it when you just put the headlight on, it never had spark after that, or did it run for a little while and then it had no spark because maybe you did something that doing the headlight burnt something out? So there's a few fuses on those bikes. Check the fuses. But get rid of that headlight, and the headlight should go 100% off of the battery. The switch broke on the headlight, and then I tried to. Okay, we're not getting the whole thing. So, Brooks, formulate your thoughts and write out an comment out. We will come back to this. It's an emerging tech question.
We need Jay to show up right now. Jay Clark, zoom in.
I can smoke Jay on 9 out of 10 questions without referring to a reference manual. And it's so funny because we both do the same kind of thing. We have the same. We generally have 2 different directions of coming to the same answer. So, and Bud Cameron says, what were the biggest challenges in racing a 4-stroke competitively against the 2-strokes in the mid 90s? Not getting hole shots. You were getting hole shots on these things.
Yeah, I remember hole shotting the Washougal National against Jeremy and all those guys. Jeremy and Emig, Albertane, all of them. Didn't last very long, but I pumped up so fast because I just did my 4-stroke national moto, which was 45 minutes. Had to go right back down and get on the gate. But I think the problem with the 4-strokes back in those days was just the weight to power ratio, and they didn't rev quick. As you remember, they were smooth. The bikes now,
lots of torque.
The bikes now, they're just so snappy. They didn't have snappy back then. It was just smooth torque.
We didn't have pumper carbs.
No.
Or did you? Yeah. So I mean, Al Baker, I remember when I was working with Al Baker tried it, but the carb was such a pile of crap. If you hit bumps, it would just bog. But for sure, they just, like you said, even when you turn the throttle, a lot of times they'd have bogs or, different things. And that's where the 4-stroke really came alive, is when they started putting that Mikuni pumper, or not the Mikuni, the Kean pumper carb on. Cause the Mikuni had a pumper, but like I said, it was a Harley carb. But when they got the carburation down, and all of a sudden they could get them to rev quicker, be snappier, all that. But, I was going to say just in general, like overall handling, you could get the suspension to work as good as the 2-strokes. They a lot of times they got better traction, I felt, and I could work with the torque. I could use the torque to roll through the turns and everything. I think you were really good at that as well. But when you go with weight, that could be a little problematic.
Yeah, sometimes it's in your benefit, but sometimes it was when Lance Mail in 97, when I got hurt, he started riding the Supercrosses on that custom hand built KTM that they built him in a 2-stroke 250 chassis. And I'm just like, dude, I'm giving him props, because how he's even getting around the racetrack was just baffling, because the tracks back then weren't designed for the 4-stroke type power. So it's different. Like now, the jumps are set up. Everything's very, it's designed for it. It's got the landings are a certain length and all that stuff's different. It wasn't like that back in the day.
Well, and we go back to like the best bikes you ever rode. One of the worst bikes I ever rode was Jeremy McGrath's Supercross bike, the one that he loved. And that thing just
250.
It just, you turn that throttle and it was like a light switch and it just went rat, and it went. And that's what you needed to do Supercross in those times. If you had to roll it on, you're not, there's no time to roll it on. Everything was right. Right now they were kind of, it wasn't as smooth, or as I would say, it wasn't as flowing, where there's transitions, You know,
it was like a light switch.
Yeah. Now they land and they get to roll through things. And there's stuff where before you land in a V and you'd be slowing down in the V, slamming it and go, bap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They had
Launch.
to just, just chop the throttle. Now these guys just, they can if they even chop the throttle, they'll just over jump stuff. Those 4-strokes are so fast. You know, another bike that I'll add to that question that Jason had, and hi to Alan Lane, by the way. Alan's a good dude. I got to ride Jeff Leask's Works Honda back when he was teammates with Stanton and Ricky and all them. I forgot what his number was back then. He was like number 6 or something like that. It was like maybe, what was that, 86, 87, somewhere around in there. And it was when I was on Cagivas, and it was like 86 or 87. We didn't have a 250. And so my friend Seth had his Works bike in his garage because he would come up and ride with us all the time. Jeff did. Yep. And he left it at his house when he went back to Australia. Well, he called him and goes, hey, I was number 7. He had number 7 on his bike. National number 7, full HRC Works bike. And I'll never forget, I go, you know what? I want to race his bike at Paris. It was a GFI, one of those GFI races where they paid really good. Goat paid like 100%. So I got a hold of Jeff and said, hey, could I borrow your bike this weekend? He goes, yeah, no problem. Race it. Do whatever you want. And I'm like, okay. So I took it out there with my Cagiva and I signed up under an alias name. And my buddy Kenny Maddox to this day, he still calls me Mike Minka, because Minka was the name. But you could go back and look it up. Don Maeda wrote the story in Cycle News and he was laughing because he knew who it was. Yeah. But I won both motos, beat everybody. And there was a roster of guys, as you know, in our day. Oh, yeah. And I was like, that bike was unbelievable. It was like you just turned the throttle and it did everything for you. And remember how gnarly Paris used to be?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, we used to do Honda when they had the little Supercross track, which was Goat's track. We used to do the Honda durability there, and you do Supercross durability there, and it's like, oh, that was so gnarly. And like, especially because it always seemed like it rained. It always rained, and then it was great. It was great when it rained because I was an off-road guy and I could ride around in the rain, just do fine. Then all of a sudden, one of you donkeys would go and jump the triple, and then Japanese go, bike must jump triple every lap, and I'm like, not with this donkey on. I ain't
right out of the right-hander. You had the right-hander into that triple, and it had like a million ruts.
Yeah, right where they parked the box van, right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. You remember that? Those were crazy days.
I got fired.
I had a broken wrist then. You probably didn't remember this, but I broke my wrist in Mickey Thompson. And my navicular never healed. And it was so painful. Back then, I literally had to take like Vicodins, and I would be taking them while we were out there testing because I couldn't hold the handlebar because my hand hurt so bad. But I had to test because they wouldn't allow you to go home.
Yeah. You know? And that's how you're making money at the time. You just
it was good money back in those days, dude.
Well, yeah, you're riding somebody else's bike. They're paying for the gas, brand new tires, all that stuff. Oh, so Brooks, back to his XCF. He says, disconnect the headlight completely to eliminate that. Is there a fuse that would affect the spark? Yeah, there's a couple fuses back there that affect the spark. And I think there's a little fuse box back there with 3 or 4 fuses. Check them. That should have been. So kill button, fuses, kill button, and then. I don't know how you wired that headlight on. And a lot of times the headlight switch, the switch also incorporates the kill button, and then people plug that in wrong. So your kill button is constantly grounded. So check that. It just get rid of that. Get rid of that. And Doug Derby says he had a big gun exhaust, a big loud exhaust. Hey, that's probably awesome. Where
Thanks, Doug.
That's probably where we used to get in fights because I hated loud exhausts. I mostly got in a fight with you. I tested a bunch of them when we were a dirt rider, and I mostly got in fights with Lieb. Because I'd call him and he'd for sure call back and get in my face when we disqualify it because it was a 96 decibel sound test that we were doing. Maybe it was an off-road bike, and he's like, it's 96, and we tested, it was like 105. So it's like, no, this is not a 96 exhaust. He's like, well, you're doing the test wrong.
You're not holding it in the right position. Chris could tell us all about that.
He did all about that. And generally, Chris was the guy doing a lot of our sound tests. Yeah. I mean, we wanted a guy that was certified, so we knew it was proper. He actually taught, I was certified to do it too. He taught me how to do the test. And so I knew how to do it, but
he helped us. We would build stuff and he would come and test it for us too. And it all mattered. Like you couldn't have walls in the background and stuff to echo off of. And we had to test every pipe, I had hundreds of different pipes.
Oh, yeah. And Dave Donnelly says, any update on the Nora ride? Well, it's a Nora 500 race. Follow follow Nora's Instagram. Go to Nora Motos Official, I think is what that. And all the updates are there. I've shared some of them on my Insta, whatever, face joint page, and then you just push on a button and it'll take you to the other one, and then you can see all the updates, because I flushed those down the social medias yesterday, and now I'm moving on to working on diligently trying to sell my soul and do my penance so that I can keep riding motorcycles with Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, brought to you by Yamaha. Did you ever race Yamahas, Mike?
Oh yeah. My whole younger career, so I rode a Yamaha from the day the Yamaha came out with their first 80, which was like 1980. 1980, I think 79, 80, somewhere around there. Started on them and rode them. Got my first Yamaha ride in 1981. I got free bikes. I was like, I got parts allowance. It was all about 82, 83, 84, 85. And then because 84, I moved from 80 expert up to 125 intermediate for 85 and did really well, but that bike wasn't a good bike back in that era.
The 85, 86 were a little, the motor was pretty slow. I think that's why I started racing Kawasaki's in the 125, but I always rode the Yamaha 250. They were good. Yeah, your guys' Cowies were way faster. We had Paul Feed did all my motors and all my suspension. He gave me Mike Byers race stuff, so I had his race pipe and his motor, and it was way faster then. We started winning some stuff, but I rode then, and then I had that spur with Cagiva, and then right after Cagiva I rode for Clark Jones on Yamaha. So 1990 and 1990 I rode for Clark, and then 91 I rode for Suzuki, 92 Suzuki, 93 Honda. That's when 93 is when Eric Crippa built me that Works Factory Honda 4-stroke that was just unbelievable. Yeah, and I raced Baja that year. Yep, and we have a photo of that scrolling through the things the 500 here. That was Baja 500, and I crashed already 2 times and we got second overall. It was Dave Donatoni, myself, and Chuck Miller. Dave D, that's my main riding buddy. There was a picture Donatoni. There of the. Yeah, I still ride with him, man. He's on it. Yep, that's 9X. It. We were the first Honda. We beat good old Dan Ashraf that day. He was on the 1X, and I think he was he 4X? He might have been 4X, but it was him, Johnny Campbell, and somebody else. I forgot was on their team, and it was and we beat him. I don't know how, but we beat him. That was a great day. It's funny. I always go back. Where were you in 1990? Was it 1990? Yeah, no, 91. In 1991, were you riding 4-stroke with us? That's when it just was starting. We had those White Brothers World Championships, and Ty Davis was like the guy too. Him, Zitterkoff, Eric Kehoe. There was a few big guys in there, and there was probably a lot more guys. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting guys. So I was in 91. I was riding factory KTM off-road and mostly only on 125. I think 91, 92. Well, 91 was when they wanted me to move up to 250s because KTM went bankrupt in 92, and then I was out. And then I went to magazines, and when I started doing the magazines, then I started doing all these weird things. I went back and started racing a lot more motocross. Did the, I started doing the 4-stroke nationals. I did a story where I rode everybody's bike at all the different 4-stroke rounds. I raced your bike, that 273 bike. 96. Yeah. You had my replica bike, remember? Yep. I raced your bike. You loved it. Oh, dude, it pissed me off because I liked the Husaberg so much better than, you rode a American dirt bike or something, or CCM. I rode a KTM. I rode a CCM, a KTM, a Husky, because I think we flew up to Hangtown or something with George Earl, and I don't know if that was when we did the CCM, but I think was Gordon Ward racing the CCM. He rode a CCM that year. When you rode it, he rode it, and Billy Lyles was riding it too. Yeah. Oh man, it's such a weird bike. Yeah. So I rode a Husky, a Husaberg,
You did
CCM,
so,
the
Jimmy.
White
You
Brothers
did
400. Spencer Bloomer built me that KLX 300, which
yeah,
worked.
you rode that, and you rode that XR 440. Yep, I remember.
Yeah. And they were. I liked riding them because they handled kind of halfway decent.
Yeah.
But the Husaberg had the best motor and it handled the best. And, and it was
I have pictures of you right next to me, whole shotting the Glen Helen National.
and I rode Lance Schmale's KTM, the with the LC4 motor in it. So I got to ride every single one of those, and we did a big story on it. And but yeah, that's when I was just like, I'll the magazine allowed me to do all that kind of cool stuff, and I had to do like 1 page a month. I thought it was a job.
1 page a month.
1 page
Dude.
a month.
Hey, funny story. You ever been up to that Swedish town? What is it called? Why am my brain fading? Up north. It's up along the coast.
Buellton or something.
It's like an old Swedish looking town. I can't think of what it's called. Starts with an S, I think.
Solvang.
Okay. So I took the fiance, Denise, up there a year or two ago. We went up there. I've never been there. And they have a motorcycle museum. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but there's a like really famous old motorcycle museum. It's mostly street bikes. It's really cool. And I'm cracking up. I'm just rolling around checking these things out. And I roll by and I look over and I know the cover of this magazine because I remember doing it with Ron Greiwe. And it's a Cycle World magazine. And I'm like, it's on the top. Yeah. I was like, what? Pulled it down. I'm all, that's me. And she's like, that's not, how do you know it's you? I go, that's me. Trust me, that's me. And so anyways, I open it up. There's a bunch of pictures and the guy goes, that's you? I go, yeah. I used to test for Cycle World. So it was just funny because it just was right there. And then he had a whole collection of cycle magazines and Cycle World. I mean, hundreds of them. And he was selling them for like $2 a piece. They were just heirlooms, Yeah, it was pretty funny. I actually have that magazine. It's right here on my dining table right here. So,
that's cool. Yeah, that's you're talking like the Ron Greiwe era, because I basically started testing. I was just a test slut. I would go anywhere and test anything, and Cycle World would actually pay you a day rate to go. You get like $100 a day or something to go test bike. And Ron got to the point where he would just go to my house. The garage is locked. Take the bike out. You and Kenny Jones go out in the mountains and shoot it, and then write me some notes, because my notes were good enough to where he could just publish it. He could just turn in my notes, and that's why he kept using me, because I'd kind of do his job for him. It was really cool, and I thought it was cool. Oh yeah, Ron was just like he's like yeah, I put a little polish on it and I turned it into Dave. He'd always call us David Edwards Dave, which he hated it. And then one day I was out at a Hare and Hound. I had just come off of my injury where I broke my foot all apart, and I was riding a Team Green bike because I lost my KTM factory ride because they were broke, and Team Green had nothing, and my partner was Danny Hamill, and Danny was off riding with Larry Rossler, and I wasn't coming back to do any of that stuff because I wasn't that fast, and it was Ron goes, hey, I just bought a motorcycle company, because he bought ATK. Yeah, him and Donnie. And who else? No, not Donnie. I'm drawing a blank on his name. The other guy that owned it. But yeah, he's like, I bought ATK. I'm quitting my job. You go down and tell Dave you want my job. You've been doing all my work for me, anyways. That's how you got your job. That's crazy. Yeah. Oh, so, Ogre. You remember his nickname, Ogre? Yeah, Ogre. Yeah. He turned my 4-stroke career. Like he made it happen. He really was like a very influential part of it. Because did he drill some holes in some 4-stroke and let you ride it? He actually did some stuff. He did some stuff, some little secret things. Nothing lighter than a hole, Ron always used to say. Oh God, it was so funny. He goes, "Give me the bike." It was in 1992 when I was riding for Suzuki, and Suzuki didn't have a 4-stroke, and they were going to have that 6 or 7 round national 4-stroke series. And I was like, hey, it'd be kind of fun to do that. The only reason I knew about these bikes was all because of you and I testing them all. I'm like, right. Oh, it's kind of fun to ride this bike. It was kind of fun doing that. That was a cool bike. So we knew all that because of that. But they said Husqvarna wants to get 2 riders. So they got me and Pete Murray.
and they gave us those enduro bikes. They were like the TE610. And we had to turn those into motocross bikes. And so Ogre took my bikes and goes, I got you. So
he took it over to George Earl.
George Earl did the pipe, and he
went
did
to Uptight. Yeah.
Yeah, he did the pipe and something else. And that was the pipe that used to burn your leg really bad and just ruin your boots. We built a really cool guard for it, so I never had a problem again. But if you didn't have that, you would lose your boots every weekend. But he did something with the flywheel and some motor mods and did something with the cam. That bike was so unbelievable. I mean, I won almost every race in 92 on that thing and hole shot almost every race. It was like, it was incredible. And then Race Tech got it handling so good that I had more fun riding that than I did riding my two-stroke. And I stopped riding the Supercrosses. I was like, I don't really care to ride my two-stroke in Supercross anymore. I had to ride 125, And I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm going to ride this thing. And I was making money, so why not, It was fun.
Yeah, and they had some good purses, and White Brothers had put on their big, I think there's a 4-stroke national. I'd show up there because I was there racing there too, but I was riding my XR80. You guys were riding the men's bikes. Yeah, we were all riding our adult mini bikes. We had all of our, me and Dave Miller and Martini and all those guys. We had a little clan of guys with these Works XR80s. And
Martini probably still has his bike. He's on our board. I'm gonna have to ask him. He's on the Road to Recovery board, and I'll have to ask him.
He might have given him he had his hand in the Works part spin all the time because I got a couple of tear offs from his stuff. It was funny the way that whole thing started. I was at a Transcal or something at Carlsbad, and we always used to stick around for the pro days. We'd ride 125 intermediate the day before, and then we'd stick around and watch the pros. And I think Gary was there working for, I don't know, it was Mike Healy or Larry Brooks or someone like that. He was wrenching for him, and he took all the plastic off and just threw it in the trash can. And I come over and I start dipping into the trash can, and he goes, "Hey kid, get the hell out of there." And I go, and he goes, "What are you going to do with that?" He saw we were parked right across the thing. He's like, "You ride a Kawasaki?" He thought I was going to take it and sell it. I go, I'm going to put it on my XR80. He goes, "What?" I want to put it on my XR80. This plastic's cooler than the stuff on my XR80. He goes, "Doesn't fit." And he's telling me, "Throw it back in the trash can. It doesn't fit." And I go, "No, I made one with a single shock." And he's like, "You did what?" And so he let me take it. And then, 3 months later, I show up at Carlsbad at the 4-stroke national with this jalopy of an XR80 that had that plastic bolted onto it. Works Performance Gill had built me a shock, and we had this weird, it was a PDS system before there was anything called PDS. It had a chain torque suppressant, like Horst came over and looked at it, and he's like, "Hey, he kind of wanted to tell me that he had the patent for that, but mine was different because mine was a chain torque. It wasn't a eliminator. It was a chain torque suppressant. Not that you needed to suppress chain torque on an XR80, but you needed to keep the chain on the sprocket."
Yeah. And didn't they have those ones that had this, they went way out back in the olden days before ETK. They had the sprockets that at the front of the,
you would bolt it onto your swing arm on any bike. It was a thing. And cause I tested it and this is afterwards. I remember I was out doing something with Dirt Bike Magazine. Horst brought a bike out there, and we went to LA County because they had those kickers off the jumps, and that's where that thing worked. You could just hold it wide open over the kickers, because the suspension would move. It wasn't all locked up, and every other test rider. And it's funny you say we were pretty open to riding all these weird bikes and trying different stuff. Well, every other thing was just like, it's just all YZ250, CR250, KX2. There's nothing else. And and if it's not like whatever, Jeff Ward or Ricky Johnson has on their bike, then it's not. And this is a weird thing. So every test rider is like, that thing's stupid. It doesn't work. And I went and rode it, and I'm like, you can hold it wide open off the jumps that you have to back off a little bit on these things. And it was kind of weird because if you over jump something, you landed. And this from riding your ATKs, those things will bottom like worse than anything because the chain torque doesn't affect the suspension. And then plus the ATK, the frame was just a little bit lower. So you just dug trenches with your cases. I raced one of those too.
Do you remember they did the full ATK invitational race at Glen Helen in between the national? Did you know about that one?
No, I didn't know about that.
That was crazy. Every bike was an ATK. and they supplied them all. And that's when Moriali, my old Cagiva mechanic, was working for them. Moriali, super. He was always cussing. Anyways, I would land and my bike would just cut out all the time, almost throw me over the handlebars. And he's like, hold it wide open, And so I just land with the thing wide open. And then the back brake would only last for about 3 laps.
Because it was on the countershaft sprocket.
Yeah, you had no brakes.
Yeah.
A funny story, I was going to tell you this earlier, was about that Husky that Ogre did.
Yep.
So 92, that bike was, I wish you could have rode it. They actually, Dirt Bike did a test on it. And you know who got to ride it was my teammate why am I brain fading right now? Pete Murray.
Oh, Pete,
Pete Murray got to ride it. So he got to ride my bike because they're like, dude, what is so special about this bike? It runs so good. Anyways, I went to the GNCC. So I just had dinner right before we did this. I had dinner with 2 of my athletes from Road to Recovery. I was with Jerry Robin and Adler Cottle. Love my guys, man. All my athletes, they're just amazing. But we just had dinner together and we were talking, and Jerry was talking about how he was really into off-road racing back in his day. Like he was doing all the wood stuff. And so I was like, oh, no way. So I told him, I go, hey, I had one experience at GNCC, and it was Ron's son, Donnie. And Donnie was on a Husky for off-road. When you guys were racing off-road, he was on a Husqvarna.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And he goes, you got to come race this GNCC. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like, what do you do? Bring like motocross gear and whatever. So I show up, and it's at Wickenburg. And everybody's there. Plessinger's there, Ronnie Smith, Scott Summers. I mean, there was a list, Kevin Hines, all these guys. And that
would have been a West Coast Hare Scrambles. It's now called West. It was a hare scrambles because GNCC never went past the Mississippi, so it was a hare scrambles, which is kind of like the same sort of thing.
Race was hare scrambles. It was
hare scrambles. Hours. Yeah, yep. It was. I don't know if it's 2 or 3 because I did one up at Shasta and I did one at Wickenburg. Yeah. I've done a couple of these different places.
So it was. I think you're right. I think it was a 3-hour race because we had to stop, get gas, and it was. You were out there forever. Well, I'm a motocrosser. I come out with just motocross setting. Everything's moto. I just threw some handguards on it. And you have to kick cold start, right? So you had to kick the foot stroke over and pick off. So, of course, I'm like probably 12th or 13th. And I'm just reeling through guys. And Scott Summers is right next to me. And we're battling. And I passed Plessinger. And I'm like, whoa, I just passed Scott Plessinger. Whoa. I'm like kind of in awe that I'm like, I'm with all these dudes I read in the magazines, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, I get up with him and Rodney and they're battling and I'm right there with him on the 4-stroke and he's on his XR 4-stroke and then Rodney's on like a Suzuki and they're just they're dicing. All of a sudden I go, dude, something's wrong. I got a flat tire. I had a rear flat tire. I rode the entire 3 hours with a flat. And where do you think I finished?
Third.
No. How did you know I got third? Did I tell you that?
No, you didn't tell me that. I mean, I just figured you were there. Yeah. I milked that thing. So like I was just delicate on it, lean forward, keeping the weight off it. The tire never came off the rim. And Motocross Mike got third. I was like, that was the funnest race of my life. That was probably the best race I'll ever always remember it. Yeah.
And I beat Donnie. That was the best part is I beat Donnie at his own turf. I was like, I beat you, sucker. And I had to drive home with him.
Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, well, Donnie was Donnie to the bomb. I mean, Donnie could uncork the brain and send it to the bomb like nobody's business. So anyways, hey, Mike, so I want to have you help me out with this section that we call it Rooster Endo. So I know you got to get going here in a little bit. And then I will get to all the technical questions that I have stacked up in the thing. But so Rooster Endo is a segment brought to you by Tacomoto. That's tacomoto.co. You go to their website and they have all the cool things, especially for your most of your KTM like dual sport kind of bikes and stuff. But they have it for now. They have a lot of stuff for the Hondas and they have fuel pumps and all kinds of cool things. So go to tacomoto.co and I'm going to go to my Rooster Endo screen here. And this is the gang of guys that were going to beat me up if I didn't vote for the guy's bike. And then I've got to find my other screen here that has, is this the right one? Uh-oh. This is where Tech Talk Taco Tuesday gets interesting.
Is that a KTM right there?
That is a KTM, and I know everything about it if I get my screen right. Okay, here we go. I have some really good questions tonight too. So this is is Matthew. Let me check to see which guy's bike this is. Matthew or Jimmy. This is Jimmy McNeil's bike, right? Because this is, this is Jimmy McNeil's bike. This is an 18 Husqvarna FX 350 as she sits after competing in the Los Ancianos Tecate Enduro. He's running double handguards and still had bloody knuckles. The stock flags made up surprisingly well with Fastway wraparound handguards. She's giving us a tech tip to double up the handguards. He has a factory connection spring and bladder conversion, Blaze retuned ECU, and FMF Sparky. Bulletproof Designs. Bulletproof Designs, a proud supporter of this podcast, by the way. Radiator and guide plate brace with TM Design chain guide. Zip tie fin, guts racing seat. Okay. You have a hodgepodge of protection there because he's got the bulletproof, he's got TM Design Works, and zip tie fin. So that's a guts racing seat. Raptor pegs with Ride Shop Arizona folding brake tip, AXP skid plate, stealthy flywheel weight, 3 times lighter clutch springs from Free Ride, Recluse billet cover, and a stock clutch. Oh, so he's flexing the Recluse cover without the stuff inside. Ricky Stater. With the Ruby 7 R7 headlight, IMS take, Michelin bib, and 300 plus hours. So you're getting your money's worth out of that thing. Mike, what do you think? You can say anything you want about these bikes because the people that submit them are never watching. And
that bike looks like it's been well used.
Ridden hard and put away wet.
It's earned its stripes.
Yeah, it actually, for finishing the Tecate Enduro, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good right there.
It's not bad. I mean, you think about it. All the rocks he probably clobbered, and you could see on the FMF pipe, he wadded that thing up a little bit. But, and he's got a different header pipe. What's that header pipe? Matched it up pretty good.
FMF Sparky. That might be stock. Is that an
might be a stock header? Yeah, because he might have put just a slip-on on it then. But he's got it finished.
So the very first time I saw this photo, and I look at that roached out muffler that's been just drugged across rocks and things. Like that bothers me for some reason. Probably because mine look like that.
Oh my gosh!
So
I would like to see the wheels, how square they are.
He didn't say does he say he's running mooses or anything like that? No. Wheels look relatively round. They're not too bad. The rims are all scratched up. It looks like he gets stuck in rocks. And if he's coming out of that race with bloody knuckles, that's on him. Yeah. You gotta, they
What's
make
our choices on this? Does he get a pass or fail?
It's Roost or Endo.
Oh man. Endo means you failed, right?
Well, it just means that the bike endos. I don't think endo is a good thing.
Okay, Bender in the bars. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And so I'm saying that this bike it has all the qualities of a Roost for how long it's been ridden. It's been ridden hard. It seems like he's got a lot of stuff on it. Things that he likes. He doesn't seem to be really brand loyal. He seems like he'll mix it up a little bit with his stuff. He's done it so much like I do it with things. What does he say? What kind of gas tank? IMS tank? Yeah. He's got so much weird stuff on there. I think that I'm going to say, and it's too much like I do it. I'm going to say the bike endos.
Endos, yeah. I'll probably second it. Endos.
You're going to second?
I'm going to second because I think it's going to endo because it's just got miles on it. The thing is dying.
I mean,
the muffler, as far as we know, it might be plugged with dirt.
And I don't know. And the other thing is he's using only a few of my sponsors. He's using competitor products to my sponsors, and there's no way that I'm ever swayed by, what sponsors I have on this show. By the way, the show is brought to you by Yamaha, Bulletproof Designs, Climb, I love the Climb gear. Again, Yamaha, and that's not a Yamaha, and bulletproof designs. He had some bulletproof designs, but then he swayed into other waters with that zip tie, which, it's a good product. That zip tie, shark fin and stuff like that. I need to call Ty and tell him to send me some money, and then maybe we can be, better friends. But, anyways, it's a double endo on Jimmy's bike there, Jimmy McNeil's bike. Good job, Jimmy. Sorry about this, but it's still not over. Matthew Cipes, Cipes. I don't know. If you are watching the show, if you're in the chat, you can always influence us by throwing down your comments, whether the bike's Rooster Endo, in the chat. And since we're not dropping frames tonight, which is really awesome, Mike, like usually this show is a technological disaster, but I think since you've been on, you've made it better. We changed it. We were talking about racing and memories. That's our problem. You fixed it. I hate to talk about any racing at all in this show, or that in general. This involves me. So, okay, Matthew Sipes bikes. Hey TT, he only put 3 T's. Hey Tech Talk Taco Crew. Okay, here's my well-ridden and loved 2017 KTM 250 XCW, 300 plus hours. Between our 2 bikes, we got 600 hours on this thing. He's done 3 top ends, Kreft suspension front and back with 4 rebuilds to keep it fresh. Moose bib front and rear, X31 front. That's a Bridgestone, I believe. AT81 gummy rear. That's a Dunlop. Ride Engineering radiator. I didn't know they made radiators, but that's good. A Chirby's plastics with headlight just in case. Does your kill button still work, or does it have a spark? That's a good question. A Seat Concepts low seat off my wife's old KTM because it was too good to sell. Okay. Most recently he did a TSP high compression head paired with a Toon Kian Striker shirt body carb. This puppy rips. I just read them. Mike, I just read them like they come. Yeah, you read them like that. I know. I'm looking at his carb when you were saying that. I'm all, it looks like a Kian, but I can't tell what it is. I'm looking at his smatched header pipe. Okay, I'm gonna. Jimmy have been ridden like these bikes have. These guys ride. Hey, my audience is just not on the U-grams all day long, just telling everybody how to do everything else. They're here for good advice. They want to show us well-used donkeys that have just been beat up and used. So again, he did send in a couple photos, and this is just the first one I grabbed because I like to bitch about stuff. And so both of these photos, both his and Jared's bike. Jared's a little, Jimmy's bike. Jimmy, that's right. He kind of went to a little bit of effort. I mean, it's at the race, so he shot it. He could get a little bit lower for a more square angle on the bike. And this one, he's shooting down on the motorcycle, which I think is kind of disrespectful. The reason you don't see those kind of shots by professional photographers is they kind of understand these strange things. Even today, I encouraged people to send me Rooster Endo submissions, and I turned the handlebars away from me, and I shot down in a kind of a 3/4 down on this Can-Am electric bike that I have, just to rub it in the wrong way. Just to rub it in. Well, you've taken plenty of photos, plenty of photos in your day. I'm no good at it. I just barely get by. So. So the other bike, I don't like the graphics on the other bike, but I like the graphics on this bike. Yeah, these are super neutral. Yeah, I kind of like that. I have a couple bikes that look almost exactly like this, except maybe they're just all orange or all gray or something like this. He's not putting stickers on it, Jimmy, because he's like, I'm not going to free advertise. So I like his style. Like, I like. Why give him free advertisement? I like his style too. So again, 300 hours. and he's doing right. You know, he's putting the top ends. He's got all the stuff. That Creft suspension is not cheap. I heard they're back in business. Somebody told me that they're doing stuff again because they kind of went away and they got more into the mountain bike stuff, or somebody bought them. I don't know if you have any information on this, especially Matthew. If you're in the chat, you could think. We got some comments here. Mikey Burton says, "Clap. That motor looks gummy." He's going to need some degreaser for that motor. And Mario Chegerbosch says, "Sorry, speak in English." Well, thanks, Mario. I'm doing my best. And so there's some endos. Glenn Williams says, "Roost on style alone." Now, rider's got to ride, is what Jason Abbott says. Okay, so in order to submit your bike for Roost or Endo, we don't care. I'm not going to say we don't judge because that's all we do with this. But I don't mind this bike being dirty. It looks like it was at the track. He's got a California green sticker on that. Did you notice that, Mike?
I saw that up on the fork leg. Yeah, I thought there was a green sticker up there.
He's got it. Well, it's a red sticker.
A red sticker, yeah.
But I wonder where that's at. It looks like Hollister Hills or someplace like that.
Yeah, NorCal.
A little bit of that red dirt, Carnegie or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude,
but
my problem is my OCD.
What's your problem?
My problem is I couldn't let that go in my garage.
Oh, you'd have to clean it.
I'd have to Scotch Brite it up. I'd have to, moto muck it. I would be scrubbing. I would decrease the motor. It would be shining when it came in the garage. But yeah,
I think the other one had the greasy motor. This thing just has the splash from the mud and stuff like that. It doesn't bother me one bit. This bike for me, for some reason, this bike roosts to me. I don't know why I like it better than the other. Oh, because it's two-stroke. Maybe because
I think it's all maybe because of the stand. I mean, that's an old factory stand right there. That's like the works guys would have that stand. So you might have been judging it because of the stand.
That's like the old Honda ones that were really hard. I think you get them. They were really expensive, but they were really good stands.
I think you're right. I think that's why you're liking it. I don't know. Look at those foot pegs on that thing too. They're like monster claws.
But this bike with let me look at the foot pegs again here. I tell you what, this bike has handguards, so it should have a kickstand. That's one of my things there.
Kickstand on there. He doesn't want to bottom out on the kickstand.
Those or catch his leg on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pogo or the parts.
It's PDS.
That motor looks like it's never been cleaned.
Oh, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I like this one better. I say this one roosts.
It looks faster, huh?
Yeah, it looks faster. I'm gonna have to call up Jimmy's bike again there, and I can't tell you why I like, because I do like a good 350 4-stroke now and again too. But
I think you're being biased to the poor 4-stroke world. You're just like, that bike's loud and noisy, and that little 2-stroker's just brah, brah, brah.
Oh, it'd be loud if it had a big gun pipe. It's got that nice FMF quiet on there. Yeah, it's got the Q. You know how much time those guys spend in the. You know how many pipes you had. You ought to see old. And now I'm drawing a blank on. Well, yeah, Uncle Donnie for sure. But who's running the dyno
in that bike?
George. Yeah, George Ludig in there, just like inventing every George weird little thing inside of the mufflers to keep them quiet. Hey, I've got this prototype FMF one right now. I'm testing some stuff for them, and it is so good, Mike, because it's really quiet to everybody, kind of except the rider. And the rider, it still has a little pop to it, or a little bang.
Okay.
I mean, it's so quiet externally, but you on the bike, you don't notice how quiet it really is, and the power's good. It doesn't.
So you still feel the same, and it sounds the same, but for everybody else, it's way quieter.
Yeah, you know how when your bike has a little bit of pop and a little bit of snap to it, that's just annoying. Like the old Kawasaki's used to be like this. Yep. They were obnoxiously loud, but the riders liked the power delivery and the sound and everything, but they passed sound tests. Well, this thing kind of does that without doing that to the public. It does it to just only the rider. I don't know how. It's just, some stuff, some things.
I wonder what they're doing. Something interesting.
Okay, so if either of you, if Jimmy or
is this an endo?
Jimmy or Matthew are in the thing. What say you, Matthew's bike to me, Roos.
Okay.
What do you say?
Man, this is really unfair.
You're going endo again?
Yeah,
I like you, Mike.
I'm thinking
because
endo, and yes.
Hey, all of my every single one of my generally I bring somebody in on a guest and they're just like Roost. Oh, it's Roost. Oh, it's their bike. And I like that you're such a clean freak that you can't handle these dirty motorcycles.
I'd have to wash it.
And back to one of our comments there from Glenn Williams. Glenn Williams is the KX250 guy. So that your KX250 you have, he loves that too. He just buys any KX250 he can find. And generally, they're bags of parts, and he just throws them into a pile, and then he builds KX250s. Most of his bikes look like that, except they're green, and they're out in the desert someplace. So I can see why he's going Roost on style alone. So now comes the time when we have to award only one. So I'm gonna leave it up to the guys, especially Mario, who says sorry, no speak in English. So maybe Mario is maybe he doesn't speak English. He's not complaining about.
What's Abbott have to say? Abbott's a magazine guy.
He
says he says
say? Riders got to ride. Yeah. So what the heck? But if I were having a sip of something tonight, which I may just do in a second to help me out with this answering this question, I would be having some agua miel, bacanora. This is one of our listeners sent this to me. They sent me a package that included a toy, and this is what the toy was. It's amazing. So it's a mezcal. It's really good. It's got a really good, it won the World Spirits competition. So if you're looking for some of this stuff, this is great. Thank you. And it's a guy with a Mexican name because he's from Mexico, and I totally forget his name every time I go to do this. So it's time for you guys, because there's a little bit of delay. Chris B says Roost on the second. Glenn Williams says nice. So he says nice about our comment. We should have put your bikes into Roost
Look how
Endo,
clean
Mike.
my bikes are, and that's in the Baja 500. Look at that motor, squeaky.
Yeah. Johnny Campbell prepped XR 650. I'll tell you what. There's Mike doing the Ironman. Hey, how gnarly is that?
Oh man, it's a different level. That's like a different level. I watched a video. It's funny you said that. I watched a video yesterday of me at the Ironman, and it was just, I was in misery, and I rode by my friends, and I was just like, I want Gatorade and I need cold water poured all over me. And I just told them what I needed, and I was just mad, and I was just going. It's one of those things where when you're out there, you're like, who told me to do this? It's torture. But once you've done it, you never have to do it again. So I did it like 3 times, and I never have to ever do it again. I'm done with that.
Oh, let's see. As you did it once, it was miserable. Did you finish all 3 times? Did you finish all 3 times?
Yourself, because it's a competition. You're like, okay, my transition was a little slow in this one. I got to fix my transition. I got to clean up the swim. So it's like a challenge, and you want to do that, So that was, David Bailey got me into that. And I told David, I give you so much credit, because he went on and won, all these Ironman championships. And I'm like, I don't even want to. Like, I like training, but I don't want to. So, and it's a lifestyle. It's something you have to do. But anyways, my bikes are always pretty clean, dude. I'd ride
back to Rooster Endo. Yeah. What if we put Mike's Husaberg in Rooster Endo? Like, look at that thing.
Yeah,
that thing's
look at that.
And it's a Husaberg. So you know what I'm going to say? It probably roosts.
Yeah. It roosted that day until it did endo. It did endo. There's the Vertimati.
Yeah, that one endoed. Okay. And there's a Vertimani.
Yeah, that one endoed. Kicks me over.
So this one, I rode one of these. You brought one over back, and I got to ride it for Cycle World, and it's pretty amazing. Gear driven, because it turned into a Vor, but that bike.
This was where the Vor kind of started. This was still a little early on, because this was the 499. with the early, like this was still quite a bit different than that VOR that you rode. This little 499 put 65 horsepower at the rear wheel with 3 speeds. Is that crazy? That's what they make nowadays, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And
It was
it had the hollowed out swing arm.
Oh yeah, all billet. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer when they went to that VOR production bike because this thing was every part was handmade,
hand built. It does look kind of janky right now when you look at it, but man, back in the day you were looking at a spaceship. So okay, I'm just gonna say that you could have won Roost or Endo, but I think we're going back. Roost on the second, says Chris B. So I'm going to see if I can have some magic potion here. It'll help me out with fixing
with the decision.
It's I kind of,
this is hard.
Well, it's only 50% chance. I mean, it really doesn't take that much. Which one do you think wins?
I don't know. Now after I'm looking at the second one, the 2-stroke, the 4-stroke one's looking nicer.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it's starting to look a little cleaner, and I don't know, the 2-stroker's looking like a 2-smoker, like it looks like it's blowing smoke out the rear. I wish I could see the pipe. It's probably
see if it has a bunch of spooge hanging off the bottom.
Yeah, this thing's kind of looking faster to me, but I don't know.
I like the no. In this gang, guys would come and beat me up if it was their bike, and then they didn't win. So, okay, well, let's see. And he says Roost for the second one, and he wants him to win 2 cans of degreaser. So that would be Matthews. That would be Matthew's bike here.
The 2-stroke. That's which one's Matthew right there?
That's Matthew right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Jimmy's got the 4-stroke and Matthew's got the 2-stroke. So neither of them are watching the show. So here's the thing that I tell them, and this is what's really painful for them. They have to go and watch the show. And since we're doing this in the middle of the show, they usually scroll to the end of the show and they'll just watch the thing. I make them send me an email and remind me that I have to forward it over to Mike so they've won. So, Jason Abbott, you don't do that to me. The 350 for the win. Oh, okay.
All right, I'm with Abbott. I think I'm with Abbott.
Oh, you're with Abbott. Okay.
Yeah, I think I switched up. I think Roost on the 4-stroke and Endo on the 2-stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I think it has a big bog problem.
I don't think it has a bog problem. He's got he said right there, the TSP wraparound handguards.
I know. Barb with the shooter.
I know what I was feeling. The 4-stroke guy is telling me he's crashing into things, and I don't like that kind of riding style. Yeah, I don't like that you have to. I think I took a step back, and that's subliminally. I was upset that he's smashing into things with his motorcycle. Where the second bike, the 2-stroke, to me looks like he's a little more graceful. Riding. So that's where but right now, and Glenn Williams is going to throw in a gallon of Radical Red degreaser if the 2-stroke wins. Okay. You just put the 2-stroke into the lead, Glenn, because we're really relying on our people in the chat to help us out. So I'm going to keep this open. Right now it's +1 for the 2-stroke and some Radical Red degreaser. So
which it needs because it's not going in my garage.
It's not going in your garage. So awesome. There's John Beck. He says he's working on restoring the 640 I bought off of Rossler back in 04. I have pics, but I don't know how to send. Ha ha. Okay. John Beck is a professional photographer. So you send your pics in when you figure it out, John. Definitely haven't been chasing the U-grams enough, apparently. Well, you have to send it via email. I know it's difficult for most people, but you send me a picture and then I guarantee you I will judge every little bit about that photo. John Beck, professional photographer. So, hey, Mike, hey, it was awesome chatting with you. Have you called in before?
Nope. I've only just messaged when I was watching you guys. Like I loved watching like you and Ricky, and I forget who was on that day. And I was going back and forth, and yeah, I was just saying hi because I was like, oh, you talked about some really cool topics, and I was loving it.
I had Willie Musgrave on.
Oh, Willie's been on too?
Yeah, Willie's been on. We talked about like the old motorcycle testing days and just all the stuff, and because we used to race like when I was at Cycle World, I was at Carlsbad like every weekend. I was everything but the MXA Wrecking Crew. I couldn't get in. They wouldn't give me the damn orange helmet. I mean, I know I work for another magazine and stuff like that, but me and Willie used to battle, and he was, a bit older than me, but, I moved into the vet class and I could race him 2 times. I could race him in pro and in vet, and I had great times, but that was fun. Picking up, because they were doing a whole different kind of testing over there. So, Chris
Look,
B,
some more
he
big
says,
guns, dude.
yeah, he says, I have a big gun on my modded XR50. If I get the time, I'll try to send it in next week.
I'd love to see that.
Okay, if there was a bike with a big gun, and since there's no way that you're going to be swayed by this, but if there was a bike with a big gun in Rooster Ender, would it have won tonight?
No way.
No.
I would never have chosen
Never do that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks mostly stock, but it is sent a 25-foot doubles and outrun lashing lights with the 4-speed. Lashing lights, flash. I think he said meant to say flashing. Lights. And Jeremy Schoening says, Mike is your hero. Yeah.
Jeremy was a Husaberg guy.
Yeah. Well, then he knows something. Yeah.
He wrote him. Jeremy wrote him. Hi, Jeremy.
It's now it's a secret society. Actually, I usually, when I talk about it, I have to, I don't usually have to do it. I used to have in studio people, and they would ring the bell when I start talking about, I would start talking
Swedish
about
bikes.
Friggin' bells would start going off around here. I'm like, hey, I would steal the bell because it would disturb me. And then there's got to be 6 bells in the studio right now. Like, they're all around so people could start ringing it when I started pontificating about like how much power the Husaberg has. I did it the other day to somebody.
You're so funny.
And Chris B says his XR50 is louder than both his 450 and 300.
That is okay. That's a big gun. We might need to throw some packing in there, Chris. That muffler might be empty.
Yeah. I mean, after that much time, yeah,
that's some great support, man. That was a great era, and just like Jeremy said, it was an epic time. I got Jeremy. I rode with him when I went to the East Coast AMA Nationals. So when the 4-stroke championship went east, remember, my Husaberg did me well all the way till the last lap of the last moto, and it just stopped. And all I had to do was get second, and it stopped. And I just left it at the finish line and walked off. I was so upset. So I lost the title to Lance. I had it, and I lost it because of that.
Oh, boy.
And so I went to the East Coast, and I hung out with Jeremy. We had a really good time racing some really cool tracks. So.
Yeah, that was a Husaberg doing Husaberg things, because those motors, they like to make a lot of power, and then they like to stop making power when they decide it's time.
They were just bikes in that era were just not as reliable. I mean, every time I'd be out in front, and I would just be like, okay, just stay together. Just stay together. Don't break. Don't lock up on me. Just stay together.
And it could be anything. It wasn't like there was a, we all knew there wasn't just a known problem. There was 10 known problems, and you'd done everything to modify your way around that and stuff. But
too much. But we'll do this again. I'm grateful.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you came on. Thanks. Check out Road to Recovery. Where are you? .org, .com?
We're .com. Yeah,
roadtorecovery.com.
Anybody wants to ever support us, we're always grateful for any help we can get. Your money goes to helping these guys when they get hurt, and it's not cheap. One athlete just getting injured, it could be. I mean, the bills are just unbelievable. And then just the urology side of it, like catheters and stuff, it's $100,000 a year, and insurance only pays a portion of it. So every bit of money that we use can go towards helping the athletes, because we're a very small staff, and we do a lot with very little. But, and we start from the very beginning, the second it happens, and we follow them till they don't want us following them anymore, So,
right.
Yeah. And it happens all the time. And we're here too for guys that get hurt. Like, we help a lot of people without supporting them, as far as we don't do fundraisers, but we help a lot of people on the backside, because our job is let's help them navigate it, because people don't understand what to do. They have no concept, and we can kind of help even the non-supported athletes that didn't qualify for our support. We can still help them navigate it and help them make the best of it as possible, you know?
Yeah. And it's always something that, you know, we don't like to talk about, don't like to think about.
Yeah.
But it is reassuring. It's awesome that you guys are there. It's reassuring. And I love to see you guys out at events, you know, talking to people. A lot of times you're bringing guys out that have had some help and some support, and they tell some pretty good stories and, cool things like that. So, really appreciate it. And, go do a golf tournament with these guys.
Yeah.
You can support them. You guys do a lot of raffles and, or auction kind of things. That's a great way to kind of support and give back. And, I know, and like Chris B says, love recovery. You do great work. So Mike Young, thank you for joining the show again. I probably should have renounced you a few different times, but I just get so wrapped up in talking. Big gun Mike Young, one of my favorite competitors racing with, but you got to come back, because guess what we didn't even talk about? What did we not talk about? Goon riding.
Yeah, I got to pull the videos.
You pull the videos.
The originators of goon riding.
Right, because there's a whole story behind that. And I was gonna prime you and ask you that, but that's a topic for another day. Mm-hmm. And I'll let you know who ends up winning that Rooster Endo, because right now the two strokes leading. So Mike, thanks a lot for joining in. Appreciate you, and we'll see you out in the trail.
Sounds good, Jamie. Thanks everybody for being on there. God bless you guys.
See you.
All right.
There we go, everybody. That was Mike Young, formerly with Big Gun, now with Road to Recovery. Formerly, that guy raced World Championship race, was a 4-stroke national legend. And I learned today that he was also the guy on the Yamaha brochures back when I dreamed about getting a little Yamaha YZ80. So Mike was always my hero. So I remember those. I remember the smell a 2-stroke made back when I had a little Honda XR 80, and I wasn't getting anything else. There's no way I was getting a 2-stroke, because they would break just like my dad's Montesa. So anyways, we're going to go straight into some questions here. So if you do have some questions, make sure you throw them up in the chat. This is the section of the show where we can get deep dives into some tech stuff. So you can send us an email. You can comment. When you comment on our videos, I grab those comments and I pull them into the show, or you send me an email. I pull those comments and bring them into the show. And this is what we're doing. And if you have an opinion on that Rooster Endo, you can vote for the 2-stroke or the 4-stroke, and let us know what you think. It'll come up in the chat, and I'll react to it appropriately. Right now, the 2-stroke is ahead by 1 vote. This whole thing is going out to the to the chat, because Mike picked the 4-stroke and I picked the 2-stroke, and then we were a tie, so we had to fix it. I can overrule, but I'm going to let you guys do that. Hi, Jimmy. Says Nick S. Forgive me for pestering you through such oddly timing question, but this is driving me nuts, and others on the Yamaha WR forums groups are stumped as well. And I'm glad they're coming to Tech Talk Taco Tuesday for their answers, although he did send me an email. He says, referencing your article from 10 years ago about the GYTR competition ECU for the Yamaha WR250F. And he puts a link to the test. So this just shows you how much traction some of the stuff we get. And our stories go up there and they stay up there. It's amazing how popular stuff gets over time. Like, it'll get linked in a forum someplace, or somebody will reference it, and then all of a sudden it gets all this traction. And then a whole bunch of other people look at it. Then they have questions, which we still answer today, because that's the kind of media outlet we are. Which ECU is the GYTR one? The one labeled 2GB7 or 2GB0? I'm trying to ID my secondhand bike. It has the GYTR ECU already, or if it's stock. I've searched the end of the internet and asked AI for help. Well, AI is not as good as Jimmy Lewis, because it doesn't hallucinate as much as me. Scoured every forum. Nobody knows, because Yamaha doesn't even seem to have consistent part numbers between their catalog and their labels. By the way, Yamaha is a sponsor of this show. They help bring you Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. So just lay off on the negative Yamaha talk here. Mine says it's a 2GB7. In the photo where you are holding both, I'm inclined to believe it is the 2GB7 is the new one, because it appears to be clean and without any scuffs. If you happen to remember and can provide closure on this mystery, I and several other 2015 Yamaha WR250F owners would be most grateful.
Believe it or not, your old article here is the only clue to go off of. It's tough because comp ECUs are rare to find now, and I have been out of production for so long. So, Nick, I'm going to be honest with you. I have no freaking idea. Kind of like AI, but AI would probably tell you there's some idea. They'd probably say, would you like me to source? I don't know what it would say. Don't use it. I can't remember part numbers. I can't remember what I'm doing on this show. When I push end to this show, I will not remember anything I've done from the beginning. I might remember that I talked to Mike Young because that was cool. But there's no way I remember which ECU is. But I will tell you how to solve that problem. So on that bike, you have the power tuner. It's a handheld. It's not like the app on the phone. By the way, Yamaha brings you this app on the phone. So right now, if I wanted to talk to my WR250, I would push this button on my phone, and right now I would have access to all these maps that I can plumb into any one of my bikes. And it's trying to connect right now, but my bike's a little bit far away. But anyways, so that's how that works. If you plug your old power tuner into your ECU, it will show you your hours and a couple other things. But if you can't send it a map into the ECU, you have the stock one. If you can send a map into the ECU, you have a competition ECU. That is how you would tell the difference. So if you can't send it in, can't send a map in, you're going to need to acquire the competition ECU so you can change the mapping, which does make a big difference because you can, quote, jet the bike. I tell you what I will do for you, Nick, if you are watching this podcast and you, I have a couple of those ECUs up on my shelf. I do remember this. I don't know if they're the competition ones, but I kind of think they are because I remember Yamaha used to want me to return the bikes back to them completely stock. So when they sent me the competition ECU, I generally took it off and I never sell anything. But because you asked this question, and if you need one of those, I will give it to you. So Nick, send me an email. That's why you got to watch this show. Free stuff. That's all we do is give out free things. I'm just here for the viewers. Next question. If you have questions, go ahead and throw them up in the chat right now because I'm free to answer questions like this one. Jimmy, hi. My girlfriend actually showed me you guys a while back, and I thought I'd contact you, hoping I have the right email address. Well, you did because you got my email. You know, your girlfriend has my email address too. You know this, right? Would you be against us guaranteeing to add at least 4,000 a day in revenue beginning next week, leveraging our elite in-house retention marketing team? Oh, let's see. Your girlfriend wants me to make 4,000 more a day. I know why that is because she wants to run off with me when I'm making that kind of money. Interested in a brief 15-minute discussion to explain further, Conrad? I'll send you pictures of your girlfriend. That's how it's going to work. Let me answer that email right now real quick. Next question. Hi, Jimmy. I hope you're doing great. I've been a huge fan of your podcast from the very beginning. Well, thanks. This is Arlie, I think. I have a quick question for you. I'm a 20-year-old guy weighing 145 pounds with no gear, and I'm 5'9". I've been riding a KTM 500 for the past 5 years, mostly on single track, fire roads, and enduro logging about 100 hours per summer. I like having a bit more sag in the rear suspension, and I run my handlebars as far forward as possible. I was wondering if this is a good technique or if I should adjust something. People say I'm a decent rider, but I'm definitely not a pro, and he would appreciate my advice. Arlie, Raurele, Arlie DeBay. Well, Arlie, 5'9", 145 pounds. You're a twig, because you're taller than me, and I've got at least 50 on you. Just for instance, I ride a KTM 500 for a lot of years. So I'm mostly on single track and fire road. So we're the same. We're actually the same, but I do usually 100 hours in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't know, a lot. Got a lot last weekend. So more sag in the rear suspension, and handlebars far forward. That's a really weird setup. And so without seeing you ride, I can't tell because The far forward handlebars, what you're telling me is you want the bars to influence where you are on the bike. And if you're running low sag, bringing yourself farther forward would kind of be like if you were in a neutral body position, we'll call it, and you ran low sag, the bike would handle horribly. But if you're using the bars to pull yourself forward with the lower sag, I think you're trying to make it softer. Now at 145, the stock springs are probably just on the tad on the stiff side for you. Getting over the front would help with the front, but then going to the sag in the rear. So I think you're doing this sort of compensation thing. What I would do just off the question, the information I have right now is probably should pour myself another glass of this Agua Mel. That was really good. What I would do is get the proper springs in there. And so I'm guessing go down a spring rate, both front and rear, at least go down a spring rate on the front, and then see if you can allow yourself to come a little bit back on the bike. But anyways, go down a spring rate, see if that kind of solves things properly. Because the problem is when you run a lot of sag on the rear on a PDS bike, the bike seems like it actually really rides a lot lower than it should. You lose the supple part of the stroke, so it gets kind of stiff and harsh in the rear. And then when you take that weight off the front, when you lean the bike back, the forks don't work as good. So I always find I like riding a less sag, so higher in the rear to make the forks work better. So it's this balance issue, but it's a personal thing. And it's good that you're playing around with this and change it. And then I'm wondering if is it a problem when you're sitting down, or when you stand up, are these handlebars helping you where you're at? So I don't think it's a good technique in case it works for you. So it's one of those things where I'd have to see you ride. And I have to see if you're doing something if you're set up to compensate. And on the riding side of things, what I would always ask riders is, if you're comfortable with it, can you let go of the handlebars? And if you can't, if you're riding along and you don't do it, but if you don't feel as if you can let go of the handlebars, there is something wrong with either your riding position or your bike setup. And most of the time it's riding position. And as riding position evolves, I don't like to mess with the setup until my riding position is proper. And then when your riding position can't get proper, then you start looking at setup. So how do you know if you're comfortable? You feel like you can let go of the handlebars, sitting or standing, by the way. So that's my advice. Arlie. I don't know. Is that a Canadian name? I don't know. I'd be mean if I was thinking that, I guess. So if you have any further questions, feel free to send me another email, reach out in the comments, and let's see. Jason Abbott says, I saw your post earlier. What is it like riding the new Can-Am Origin electric motorcycle? Jason, you're so good. You got me to say the entire name. And what's a few of your favorite features? I don't know why Jason would ask me this. I have no idea, but I'll tell you right now that thing is fast. It's quick. What's my favorite feature is it's really fun to ride. So it's Can-Am's new electric bike. It's a urban commuter with a little bit of a kind of like a little bit off-road accoutrement to it. It's got tires that allow you to go in the dirt. I like the modes. I like the rideability, drivability. The suspension for what it is really good. It's quiet. It's super quiet. And I love listening to the tire just scratching for traction. It's enjoyable to me, and it's more so than any other electric bike I've ridden. Like even the Stark, the Can-Am, it feels like it's pretty well built, like kind of high quality, like BMW-esque is what it reminds me of. Just even the way it's pieced together and stuff. I haven't worked on it yet because I haven't needed. All I do is plug the plug in, and it cost me about $2 to charge it up. I can go about, and here's the problem with how much fun it is to twist the throttle. I always say, oh yeah, I'm going to run a whole cycle in eco. I can't. I always end up going to off-road expert, or off-road plus or whatever, or sport. And then just twisting it because it accelerates really nice and fast and quick. And I'm playing with the regen. It has a throttle that goes both ways. This is another interesting thing about it that I'm learning to like. So when I'm being lazy, being a commuter, because I'm using it to go get groceries and go get the mail and just do quick little runs. And the throttle has a 0 point and then it goes back a little bit and then it does regen. So I'm never touching the brakes. And so I don't know. It's fun little bike. I wish Anthony would have got my first impression video up, but you can't force the slaves to work like you used to be able to. So that's on the new Can-Am Origin. Yes, I had a picture of it. I took a very bad picture of it to encourage people to submit for Rooster Endo. That's few of my favorite features. And I don't know why, Jason, you wouldn't ask what I don't like about the bike. I don't know why you wouldn't ask that. I have no idea. Chris B says, Jimmy, do you know anyone with an 82 CR80 parts or bike? Have you seen the what's up in the corner there? Do I know anybody with any parts? I think I do. What are you looking for? Working on some chassis rebuilds. I have the rest of that, and what I'm doing is I'm showing a picture of where my guest would sit, and right over his shoulder would be an 82 CR80 engine, air-cooled little 2-stroke engine up there. It's kind of in the corner on this screen also, on the wide screen. But yeah, I might know somebody that might have some of that stuff. Send me an email. It's my name @DirtBikeTest. So back to the questions. Jimmy, last night on Tech Talk, you made a comment that one of the entries to Rooster Endo was a repeater. Probably did. I just confirmed that I'd submitted my bike back in 2023. Yes, like you, I suffer from CRS, and that's can't remember shit. Thanks, Todd. Well, Todd, thanks for being honest that you resubmitted. And I don't know how I remember that, but I like our fans, our people that are submitting stuff. How many millions? 27 million people watching this podcast. And I think I'm actually going to go try to get some real sponsors, more real sponsors, because Yamaha is an awesome sponsor of the show. Of course, all of the sponsors that are flashing up on the screen that's behind me that you can't see because of the view I'm using. I'll go to the wide one so you can kind of watch that screen. Companies like Bulletproof Designs. I'm even wearing a Rally Navigator t-shirt. Rally Navigator is definitely a personal sponsor of Jimmy Lewis for my rally activities that I do. So yeah, join in if you know somebody that should sponsor this podcast. I will say nothing but good things about their products. No matter what, it's like a guarantee. I'm just bought off like everybody else. So Alan Wakefield says, I have currently been riding and racing off-road on a Yamaha YZ250S 2-stroke, and he loves this bike. And I just recently picked up a new 2025 WR450F. It has been uncorked with the competition ECU, the throttle stop screw changed, and the pea shooter pulled out of the exhaust. That's the exact mods that I did to mine. Okay, but I actually switched out my exhaust. I also tried a G2 throttle tube tamer, but that doesn't seem to help much with what I'm trying to get the bike to do. Alan, I feel your pain. Because I tell you what, it's no Husaberg, but that WR450 does have some power. I'm enjoying the bike, but struggling with the stalling, it and the technical stuff. I like to ride, and it also feels pretty jerky down low at throttle openings. Low throttle openings. The bike has plenty of power, so I don't care about getting any more power. I just want to smooth it out and help get it to not stall as easy. You and me, we have something in common here. Mine doesn't stall as much, but it is prone to stalling. I know, cover the clutch more. No, you know what I want to do with mine? I want to get a Recluse. I really think the Recluse is the solution to my problem on my WR. I think it's 100% the problem. I don't have one. I haven't tried it. I don't know. But that new Recluse, the version 4 Recluse, I'm in negotiations currently with some Recluse connections to see about this. So he asked, do you have a good map for the 2025 WR450F I could try, or any idea of what way I should go in it? So I got this email he actually put his phone number in the email. I went to my Yamaha Power Tuner app. I went to my WR450. I selected my current favorite map. I slid it over. It says share. I pushed share. I typed in his phone number and I sent him the map. It was that quick. Yamaha, a proud sponsor of this show, and I'm glad to have them because stuff like that makes me happy, being able to do that. I've been messing with the slide bar on the maps and trying that way, but I haven't found a setting I'm happy with. I understand. And here he goes. I really like what you do, listening to your podcast, watching the informative videos, and reading your articles, knowing that you ride and have ridden and raced off-road a lot, blah, blah. Thank you for your thoughts and opinions. But you didn't have to put that in. I did that. I did all that stuff before you gave me a nice compliment, which I really should say thank you. I appreciate that. Also, what would be a good amount of hours for doing top ends on the WR450F? I don't know because I haven't put a ton of hours on mine, but I'm going to say that they're probably, I would say very safely 80 hours. I don't know if they're 100-hour motors yet, 150-hour motors yet, because I haven't done that. I don't have as much time on them as I have on my KTMs. And I would if I could get a much bigger gas tank. And that's the one reason that I'm suffering with my WRs is getting a really big gas tank. When we're like that bike, I am waiting. Oh, it rained last week, but I wasn't here. I'm waiting for the sand wash safaris to start because that thing is going to de-virginize so many sand washes out here. Oh, so good. I will leave the Husaberg in the garage, I promise. So, Alan, hopefully I helped. Hopefully that helped. And thanks for supporting the show. Thanks for all the nice things you said. I really appreciate that. Chris Real comes in the chat. The electric motorcycle regen modes are fun. Yes, pushing the weight to the front tire on the trail works well. Listening for a traction or a tire scrub is a new skill. Electric motorcycles are a different experience. You're exactly right. I agree with you 100%. I just don't tell anybody that I ride them. It's just like that's my private time that I keep with myself. Just don't talk about it. It's just like some other, just don't talk about this. Hello there. I am hereby approaching you to publish posts on dirtbiketest.com. Oh, really? Amazing. Would you please let us know your price per post? Yeah, it's $250,000 per post. We intend to pay you through PayPal, Payoneer, or bank transfer. Let me give you my bank transfer numbers right now. I assure you the content, features, and niches will exactly meet your blog's specifications. I must tell you that we don't share erotic, illicit, or vicious links. Well, then we don't want to do anything. Let's connect in a long-term professional association. Looking forward to hearing a quick response from your side. I know Aja Deep, I can't even pronounce your name. You and Connor's girlfriend, you guys are on me. I know how this is working. Okay, that's all the questions we've got from that were emailed to me this week. We do have a few on the YouTubes, also on our videos. So if you comment on one of our videos, I go back, I read it, and I tell Trevor he should have answered all these things because Trevor makes most of the videos. Hey, did anybody see how fat I looked in the Yamaha YZ450F video? Please comment on that. That's go to that video and say you're too fat to be testing these bikes. That's what I would do. Oh, look, a comment on the 2026 Yamaha YZ450F. First impression. It's over on Dirt Bike Tech. Go check it out. Or you can just, comment in the chat right now. Hey, thanks everybody for joining in, by the way. You guys do make this possible and you drive me to having some really good mezcal. Good times. Thanks again to Mike Young for coming on. That was good. If you're just joining in now, we had Mike Young, who I used to race with from Big Gun Exhausts. Really good. Steve Berkshirefield says, and he edited it. It was a decent review until Bro said that the bike is much slimmer for 2026. Dude, they redesigned this in 2023. Unbelievable. Well, Steve Berkshirefield, I knew that, but I was comparing it when I said that. And this is a thing. I'm a kind of a, what do they call people like me? Call me retarded sometimes, but I do that in kind of a one take thing. And sometimes my lips, kind of like this show, are running so quick, I don't clearly explain my entire thought. I'm teaching myself to slow down and say what I mean, because most of the time, Steve, I think you're kind of an idiot because you don't already know what I know. No, I think you're so smart that you already know that, so I don't have to say it. But I'm unbelievable. I know that. Thank you for your reply. I went to your channel to watch your video on the bike because I want to see what you said. On our all-wheel drive KTM adventure bike, Wicked Deep Lee Loopy 2115 says all adventure bikes should have this all-wheel drive. We're on the same page with that. KTM didn't think so, but Steve Christini did. And that is just like, I think all trucks should be 4-wheel drive. Just so should adventure bikes. And it's a little complicated and a little more expensive, but it's kind of just like it's like the trucks. There's extra stuff that goes on them, and boy, when you need it, and there's times when it just works better. You don't think they're driving around all-wheel drive trophy trucks these days because it's just cool. No, they work better. Same with all-wheel drive adventure bikes. It's amazing how much more control you get. We got Trent Zimmerman has a thing. Is Prump the Valley of the Dirt because y'all like power sports or because you're all made out of dirt? Well, Trent, we're dirt people because we like dirt, because not only does it blow up in the air and go in your windows and make everything dusty, you can ride in the dirt everywhere around here. In fact, this is a very off-road friendly community town. They're helping us build an off-road park for the kids like me, the kids like me. It's Valley of the Dirt people in a very, I say that with utmost affection. It's amazing how many people love dirt bikes out here, except for all the stupid people that are coming from California that are bringing there's one thing I liked about it. Go home. That's all I need to say about that. Thanks, Trent, for joining the show. Glad I can answer your question. Back to the questions from YouTube. RC Racer 641 on our Recluse Auto Clutch Explained video says, I ran an early version for 8 years of the Recluse clutch and it was great. The 3.0 did not function as well. They have come out with a 4.0 that might be great. I am now using the Z-Start Pro and it has some challenges. So I 100% agree with you, RC Racer. The old ball bearing version of the Recluse, the very early ones, and they were really hard to tune because you're using these different weight balls. Some of them were tungsten and all these weird materials to get the different weight balls that ran on these ramps. And it was a completely different system than the newer ones. And they did engage better. I don't think anything has engaged as smooth, but they didn't disengage, and your clutch feel, especially on cable clutches, hydraulic clutches were not as bad, but they're still bad. Did not have any feel because of those balls. You just couldn't compress them back down. Now with the new system where they have the expanding disc inside of, instead of this big giant expanding clutch hub, they have a disc in there. And the 3.0 definitely, every version of the Recluse has become better and better and better. And it always got better in performance, but sometimes it took a wrong turn in durability. And when it was better when it was new, but when they wore some of the newer versions, the performance went downhill really quick. Where like the early versions, like the 1.0 and the 2.0, the wear wasn't as detrimental to the performance. On the 3.0, when it wore, you knew most people knew, or no, actually most people didn't know. People with a good feel could tell when it was wearing because the performance went down, and then they would do things and it would smoke the clutch. And so I've never had this problem. I've never smoked a Recluse clutch. So the Z-Start Pro, it does have challenges, but the new 4.0 is definitely an improvement. I do not have, I'm almost getting to the point where I have enough time to pull it apart and see if there's any wear. But I tell you, the improvements they made on that particular one are way better in performance. The increase in performance is really good. And so far, the durability has been excellent. They're especially good in the lower speed spinning clutch baskets like the KTM 2-strokes. And I have one in a 2-stroke and I have one in a 4-stroke and I want one in my WR450. And I don't know how fast the WR450 clutch basket spins, but these are things I will worry about at a later time. RC Racer 641, thank you for your question. Tim Quirini or something other. He's talking about our 2020 Honda CR250L riding impression. He said he recently rode with KTM and DRZs, and his 250 Rally has 60,000 plus kilometers on it, which means he's from another planet because they use kilometers on other planets. Which bike was the only one that didn't break on the trip is his question. I'm going to guess, since you took the time to post that your bike, your Honda CR250 Rally, is the only one that didn't break on the trip. But you didn't ride with any Yamahas, because the Yamahas would have not only have just not broke on the trip, they would have like really smoked you. Yeah. John Brown is watching our Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and he says the blue banner at the bottom is annoying. I don't know what the blue banner on the bottom is. Did you not pay enough money to YouTube to get the blue banner to go away or something like that? I don't work at YouTube, so I can't help you, but you could send me money and I will see what I can do about that blue banner at the bottom. I don't know what the blue banner is. I think we'd have something technical here. Okay, so that's all of our questions over there on the YouTubes. Thanks for supporting us over there, watching it, because every time you watch it, I think I get at least 1 penny. And that's why we're YouTube creators, and we make so much money doing all of this, as you would expect. So thanks to all the millions of people that are watching us over there. We're going to start a new channel. There was a really good question today on the Facebooks that I'm going to try to get to, but I don't know if I can, because it kind of went away. I'm going to see if I can find it, call it back up. There was a group, there was a post that I commented on, and I told him I would answer, but I think the guy's question was, he had a picture of a smoked clutch, and it was one of the KTM groups, and he had this completely smoked clutch. So I'm paraphrasing right now. I probably should have shared this show to that group, but again, I'm not that smart. I don't really use the Facebooks that well. Let's see, thoughts. I wonder if it's in here someplace. Who knows? Usually some people comment on our different posts, and I can see it that way. But Gary Drummond says he loves tacos. That's a good comment. I'm glad that Gary loves tacos. So this guy had this completely smoked clutch, and he said it was his buddy's bike, and his buddy, this is the second one that he's just completely smoked. And it was on a KTM 4-stroke. I'm pretty sure it was like a 250 XCFW or something like that. He said he bought the clutch kit and put it back in, and then just instantly smoked again. So this tells me there is something wrong someplace. There's something wrong. There's a lot of different things that could be wrong, but what I want to get into is that when you figure out what is wrong and you fix it, you have another very big problem. He said he smoked it down to where there was no more fiber left on the clutch plates. And this is important because I saw a lot of people comment on it and nobody brought this up. And I don't read everybody's comments. Once there's about 4 comments on something, I figure it's already been solved and it's just a bunch of guys out there that have nothing better to do. But I had nothing better to do in that 10 minutes. And I said, you have a bigger problem, which is all that clutch material is floating around inside of your motor. And it has been floating around inside your motor because those clutches don't smoke in 10 minutes. Your filters are probably doing a really good job of getting it out, but they're probably also plugging, and you're starving your bike. That much clutch material, I guarantee you pull out your magnets and you pull out your filters, and they are going to be plugged. And that's not good. And then the material that's not getting sucked up by the filters is going through things like the oil pump, and hopefully it is not getting into the oil pump and wearing that out, which is decreasing the pressure. Hopefully it's not getting past, because most filters these days have a bypass. And when that filter plugs up, the bypass now is causing some problems. It's opening up and it's getting through, and then it's going right through the middle of your crank and out the big end bearing. And it's squirting all through those little jets, and it might be plugging the jets up, but if it's not plugging the jets up, it's squirting out onto the cam chain and it's squirting out onto your cam. Your clutch is a vital component inside your motor, and you don't want that clutch material floating around in your oil. So when you figure out this problem with the clutch, which could be you didn't check the installed gap, the thickness of the clutch. Maybe the I've seen before the hydraulic, the slave cylinder down on the cases. I've seen those things go out too far and then they don't go back in, so they hold the clutch open. And then when this things start getting hot, the clutch expands and the clutch self compensates and it does things. I've seen people leave a part out like a washer out that causes the everything to compress down and it holds the clutch open. And in the beginning, it has just enough tension so the bike kind of works, but the whole time it's slipping. So that's my concern. So when you smoke a clutch, you're not done with the rest of the problem. There's other things that are going to happen downstream. I had a sound for this. Here we go. I really hope you could hear that. Okay. Next thing. Chris B says KM for planets or rally books. KM, kilometers for planets. Planets or rally books. I'm not sure that question is really confusing me. So kilometers for rally books. Yeah, for sure. I don't know about planets. I see. Because I made that joke about what planet they're from. I'm just being an ass. That's it. The Sound Explorer says, Jimmy, random question. Have you ever ridden a Aprilia Touareg Rally 600 and have comments on them? I believe I took a very short spin around on one at one of my classes. Someone had it and I just kind of putted it around and it was either in a flat field or out in the dry lake bed. So I don't have a whole lot to say about them. I remember it kind of came out as the same time as the Tenere, and I just ridden a Tenere and I noticed right away, okay, it's no Tenere. It kind of felt a lot like a Tenere in kind of the size compartment, but it definitely had more of a, to me, like a sit down cockpit. And I don't know if it was a standard or the rally, and the rally might be set up a little bit different. So nothing that I can really dive deep into on that. So yeah, I don't exactly remember. That's it. I think this show is getting close to being over, unless you have any last minute. This is the last minute speed sections. Oh, this thing's trying to get me to play a game again. All I want to do is use the sounds, and it wants me to play a game. I can't win. Just come on, iPad. I love technology. So you're not going to get any other crazy sounds. I don't have any Husaberg stories to tell you, but I tell you what, I'm not kidding. I was really impressed with that new YZ450. And I don't just say that because Yamaha is a sponsor of the show. I work for the NORA organization. That's the National Off-Road Racing Association down in Mexico. We have the NORA 500 come up. I just went riding. I rode our road books. I verified our road books for the Mexican 500, which is coming up in October, early October. I was kind of excited because I saw where it went, but I wasn't super excited because I know how torn up some of that stuff up around Ensenada is, especially with all the races that goes on down there. I was blown away by how much fun it was. And if you haven't seen our social media posts, both myself and Tim Morton, we were both blown away. It was really, really good. And if you want to get into rally or you want to ride a race in Mexico that is super friendly and really good course, I don't know that you're going to get to do this kind of stuff ever again. Because we're going on some really neat ranchos that they got permission to do on, and it was super, super cool. And we have a GPS class now. You can get a GPS line just like at a GPS like just like they would do it at a dual sport ride, except you're going to have the organization Stella unit on it, and it'll beep at you anytime you come up to something dangerous. So it'll make you slow down. We're trying to figure out a way to get more people able to come. People, I don't want to do road books. It's like, okay, we'll try to do this. So we're trying. So if you like how we're trying, come and do this, because if nobody comes and does it, we're not going to do it anymore. That's simple. So actually, maybe don't come and do it, because I don't know if I want to. I want to just go riding, but that was a lot of work. But it was fun riding when I was riding. Oh, it was fun. Andrew Brown has a question. I will be able to make it through a roadbook dual sport ride with just the Rally Navigator app on my phone. Will I be able to make it through? So the Rally Navigator app is no longer getting support. So you're talking about the Roadbook Reader app is no longer getting support. So that's going to sort of go away. But it will work. I mean, even in its outdated configuration, you can still load the PDF in there, and your odometer and your cap repeater will still work. So yes, you can do that on your phone. You could even do the Nora Mexican 1000 or Mexican 500 on that app with your phone if you wanted to do a roadbook class, because we're going to open it up to, we're not limiting the devices, the digital devices. So you can just do it. You could ramball an iPad. I would use you could use any PDF reader, because that's all you're getting it to do. If you want a backup odometer, I would run RB Nav Pro. That's a Pepe Rico product, and it's called RB Nav Pro, or search Rally Blitz. That's like kind of one step up. That receives a little bit more support. And there's a whole bunch of other ones there, but I don't know how well the Rally Navigator app is going to continue to work. I would have to ask Mike Shirley, because that's his business. But I know we used it not too long ago, because we ran into some problems with some other stuff, and it did its job. So I think you'd be able to do that, Andrew. So let me know how it goes. If you run any problems, email me, pretend like I'm tech support, send me your question, and then I'll send it to Mike, because that's what any good friend does, is complains to his other good friend about something he gets for free. So with that, I'm not complaining about my agua miel. I'm trying to show you, but I didn't push the right button. There we go. Like that. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We didn't do our segment where we do not read from Jerry's book, Coffee with a Graveyard Mist, because nobody offered to pay me to not read. So looks like we're going to end the show with a little poem out of Coffee Brewed with a Graveyard Mist. So this is how we're doing. It's a poem called Truth. So here we go.
The truth. Disappointment snuck in like a tick. It sucked and ballooned the day away. Meanwhile, happiness skipped and danced down the laneway. Who will win? No one who likes the truth. When it is negative, and it is about them.
Well, everybody, that's the exciting episode of Tech Talk Taco Tuesday. Remember, you can sponsor the segment where we do not read a excerpt from Coffee Brewed with a Graveyard Mist, just so you know. And with that, everybody, we will definitely see you out on the trail. So until next week, cheers. Now how do I turn this thing off, this show? If you liked what you saw in this video, come check us out over at dirtbiketest.com on the webs. We have bike tests, product tests, a lot of fresh dirt, and you can even support us by clicking through our links. Hopefully, we'll see you out in the trail.